You go.
Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, Bookie.
Hello, good evening to our Experience fam. Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Is this the first Friday of the month?
It's the first Friday of
In February, right?
February. BHM, yes.
All right. Happy Black History Month.
Okay,
Every day is
all
Black
day, every
History.
day.
Right. We are Black History. So happy that y'all all jumped on board to what your everyday is, full of all this melanin. Ow.
All the flavors is represented today.
Well, how have you been, Miscommunication?
I'm still alive, guys. Yay.
Yay. Well, that's good. We're glad you're alive and you're here with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
What about you, Doc? How you doing?
I'm rowing in the same boat.
Oh, row the boat. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Have you guys done? Are you guys doing anything interesting for this month? I mean, technically, you should be doing something all the time, but doing anything special for the month of February?
Concerts.
Ooh.
Spa days. Decluttering my life here and there and everywhere. A little reset because spring is on its way, so we gotta make some room for some new energy to come through. That's just surviving. It's not easy out here, so we just waking up every morning and just thanking God for life is basically where I'm at right now.
Right. What about you, Doc?
No, I got a couple of community events that I planned. It's on my schedule to attend. I just gotta figure out how to manipulate some things. But
Gotcha.
YOLO, let's do it. How about you, Missy?
It's about 30 days till daylight savings. So it'll be a little brighter for a little bit longer. So I'm excited about that. Myself, not really. I don't really have a lot planned for this month, but I'm also not a super planner. I like to pivot when I can pivot, that type of thing. So I just feel like sometimes people get overly committed to schedules, and I'm not down. Not down.
Well, you got a birthday coming up.
Wait, let me do
right. Exactly. I didn't forget.
Listen. I know you were there when I got the gift that didn't stop giving.
I
mean, 26 years.
Please don't do that. Don't do that. That's very traumatizing. The age, the number part is traumatizing sometimes. It's like, what is happening?
Well, it's a perfect segue for our topic tonight. It's navigating adult friendships, and it's an interesting topic. We all have our examples of friendship and different kinds of friendship, different categories of friends and subcategories. So just general question, what do you define a friendship as?
I'm gonna let Doc go first, only because I have to really think about that. As I've gotten older, that definition has changed a little bit. So I just want to hear someone else's. I can be like, okay, I can figure out.
Can we agree everybody ain't your friend just because they're smiling in your face?
Absolutely. That I could definitely agree about. You gotta stop calling people your friend. That's what I know.
Yeah, they're not your friend.
They're not your friend.
They're not.
They're not. They're not.
At all.
No.
How I would define, you said how define friendship?
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
I would define it as a general connection between two individuals. Doesn't matter the gender, but connections with individuals with similar or common goals. And
nice.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Or commonalities as far as things that you like. So summarize it in that way without getting into the nuances of characteristics, because that's where you want me to
Well, we
go.
gonna come back now. We're gonna don't jump in the pool yet. Just put your little toe in.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why.
So
That's why I'm holding back because I got so much things to say, even about that that little definition of friendship. Because I feel as though
Then let me share these numbers with y'all before, because it seems like we're ready to jump in.
let's go.
Topic of friendship. So the average uh person has a certain number of friendships. So the most friends that you have would be between, on average in the US, between 5 and 12.
sound about right.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so wait, 5 and 12 years of age, you have 10 to 20 friends. And that's when you learn social interaction, social engagement, things like
So
that, right?
when you're what age?
5 to 12.
Okay.
The average person has 10 to 20 friends.
All right. So
Then,
elementary school. Go
right,
ahead.
elementary school. That's probably right at about middle school too, right?
Touching. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then between the ages of 13 to 19, which would be middle school to high school, maybe freshman year of college, depending, you have an average of 5 to 10 friends.
Mm-hmm. The
Then
shrinking.
20, right? Then 20 to 30, as well as 30 to 50, you have on average 3 to 5 friends.
Yes,
That's it.
that's
Yeah.
it.
And then 50 plus, you have 2 to 4.
Yeah,
And
because we
so
die
let
off,
me,
unfortunately.
right. So between 5 and 12, you learn social interactions. 13 to 19, it's transitioning to deeper friendships.
Mhm.
20 to 30 is when you start focusing on career, relationships, settling down. 30 to 50 is when you're trying to learn how to balance your different responsibilities in life that you've committed to. And 50 plus is where go through a shift in your social dynamic.
Mhm.
Okay. The app, when out of 100% of Americans, I guess 100, they've asked how many people have best friends, and it was 83% of Americans say they have a best friend, but not just one, on average two. And then 76% of people said that they wish they had a better quality of friends in their friend circle. And
I
that
agree with
same,
all that. That all
yeah,
sounds about right.
right. And that same percentage wishes that they were able to spend more quality time with their friends than they actually do. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So I guess my question is, one, do y'all have best friends?
Yep.
Yep. Okay. And wait, not your significant other.
Because that's my best
Besides,
friend. No, and
wait. I'm
so
asking for. Well, I'm trying to see the difference. Do you have one besides your significant other, or your significant other is your best friend?
my significant other is my best friend.
Okay.
Like
I just
point
wanted to
blank
know if
period.
there's a difference.
But to when you gave that statistic about people that are 50 and older
Right.
that have like one or two best friends, I thought that was interesting with that statistical number because of the fact that um in all probability it's because their spouse
Is that
Right.
one
And
person?
that's
is that
why.
best friend,
And
Is
and
that
that's
one
why
along,
person and
I
they have
asked you.
another?
yeah, along with who, and it may be, a old classmate or old friend,
So
like that may be that other one.
right.
You understand what I'm
So
saying?
so
So
with the 2 to 5 with the 50 plus, let me tell you what I was thinking. I was thinking a significant other,
mhm.
maybe a girlfriend, boyfriend, and you know what I
Yeah,
mean, friend that's a guy,
I know what
whatever.
you're saying.
But I was also thinking like maybe a sibling, because a lot of siblings go this way, and then as they get older, they start relating to each other again, and they get close. That's what I was thinking myself too. But yeah, so y'all have best friends.
I have a best friend. My best friend is not my significant other.
Okay, and
My
I
best,
was coming.
he's
I was
not my
coming.
he's not my significant other.
Right.
He is one of the most stable relationships that I have in
Nice.
terms of that's my ride or die for real.
Mm-hmm.
I also have other, you know, close friends
Right.
that are not that are not. I wouldn't even. Some of them I don't even consider friends anymore. They're more like family. You know, and it's the
And I
family.
was gonna say,
Yeah,
yeah,
the family that I chose, like the family that I've chosen,
they're
right?
not relatives.
No, that
Just
we're
had
not
no
blood
choice.
related. We're not blood
Right.
related,
They're
but
family.
but that we are definitely family, and I've said that on many occasions. Like my emergency contact, besides my own child, is this other person, right? So she is like my, I wouldn't call it like I don't consider her like I wouldn't even call her consider my best friend, but that's the kind of friendship that is so it's like it's very important. It's a very important situation, you know. I also have my my family group, meaning like I have like a bunch of young, they're younger than me, but they're my cousins, and those are my people for real. I don't have a lot of other friends that fall into those categories, but my best friend, that man could call me at any time, day or night, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of relationship we have. You know.
So good points. Good thing. All right. So outside of your significant other, Doc, so I'm just doing this. So what do you feel the challenges are with being friends in this?
I got you. So the pause. So going to what miscommunication said um, earlier, friendships are intimate relationships, and not intimate in a sexual way. It's
Mm-hmm.
Right.
intimate in the things that are shared between
Mm-hmm.
Right.
you,
Right.
right? Um, so to answer your question of why friendships are the way they are, for me, it's like, and you touched on this, like as you get older and go through different phases and stages of your life, life is lifing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Um, and so oftentimes because of trying to balance, you know, your responsibilities, whether it be in your home, or at work, sometimes it can be a struggle. Um, for for me, what I find interesting is I do have and have been able to maintain some solid friendships
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
with people that I've worked with who are like sisters to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I call them sister friends. But what's interesting is I personally don't have a problem with distance in friendships
Right.
because I understand that we are moving and grooving and shaking and baking um, in our own element. So I don't take it personal that I can't necessarily talk to you every day or every month or whatever the case be. Um, but I will say, if I call you, if I call you and we chit chat and you say, well, we need to get together, but we never actually get together because maybe you didn't, the other person
Right.
didn't see the need to coordinate um
Coordinate.
coordinate a time for us to get together, and or if I'm the only one that's always calling saying, hey, miscommunication, what's poppin', what's going on,
Right. Right.
and she never, like, we can go a whole year and it's like I'm the one that's always following
Reaching
up,
out.
right?
Mm-hmm. Reaching out.
Right.
Then yeah, we are, I wouldn't say we're not friends anymore, but um what I will say is that we are associates.
Right.
So that to that same thing. So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking about like people like okay, so me.
We have a lot of associates. We have
Yeah.
more associates than we have friends, but go
So
ahead.
I would consider Black Pearl a friend, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I feel as though although we've known each other for a very we always talk about we've known each other for a very, very, very long
Forever.
time.
What is
Mhm.
it? We met what, sophomore year in high school?
Yeah. So let's not do that though.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, y'all
yeah.
doing good.
Yeah,
Don't
I
nobody
mean, no,
know
I
it.
know, no,
That's,
I'm
you
not.
know why
I'm
that's funny? Because I was honestly gonna say, so you ladies are my friends. I think the shortest amount of friendship that I have is with Doc, and yet it's deeper than
Right,
a
because
lot of
because
other friendships.
again, it's all about, so it's about, like I said, levels, right? So
Right.
I've known Pearl for um
Too many years that you don't want to go there.
a lot of years, right? So if we said, okay, so damn, for a lot of years, right?
Right.
I have people that I've known for like since I was 5 years old, right? So that's like, more than 30 years or whatever the case may be. But there's this thing where I always say that the people that I know, it may not be something that I speak to them every day, speak to them every month, speak to them every year. It doesn't even matter. But I know that because we have this common, like you said, commonality,
Yeah.
there is
Right.
something that's always there. Like I've spoken to like DJ Shaw Boogie. I'm just use him as an example.
DJ Shaw Boogie, shout out.
Yeah, man. So I could call him and we could sit on the phone for a minute and just chit chat and talk. One of our mutual friends, Mr. I'll call him Mr. Hamilton for right now. Mr. Hamilton just had a birthday.
Happy
Um,
belated. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
a couple days ago. I called him. I called him, say happy birthday, and it was one of those things that because his birthday just popped in my head, and I was like, "Hey, happy birthday!" Now, I don't speak to him every day. I don't hang out with him. I don't do any of those things with him. I've never been to his children's birthday parties, nothing like that. But there's this thing about friendship that's a completely different thing through the generations.
Correct.
So people who I know, I work with people who are much younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't value loyalty, honesty,
Ooh, come
respect the
on
way we
now.
did, right? They
Mm-hmm.
don't have that same kind of level of
Thank you.
understanding when it comes to those type of things, and I find them to have the most issues with friendships, or not understanding that just because you know somebody does not make them your friend.
Correct.
Right.
Because
Or because
people,
y'all kiki ha ha and doesn't mean
I
yeah.
learned that the hard way. I've learned that the hard way many times. There's people out there that listen. Everybody knows. Anybody who knows me knows I am ride or die for real. Like that's not a joke. That's not no. That's not whatever. That's a real thing for me. Once you my peoples and you my person or you my whatever my people, I hold you down better than anything. Right? Do I always receive that in return? No. So I've learned to be selective on who I give my energy to. And I think that's why my circle is a dot and not a circle.
Right.
It
Right.
ain't big, and it doesn't need to be big. It needs to be solid, right?
Right.
That's the other difference. I think that as you get older, you start to realize my mother and father, they don't have a big friend group at all. They did at some point because I remember auntie so and so and auntie so and so and auntie so and so. They were never my
Everybody
auntie,
auntie or uncle. Right, right,
right?
right, right.
But as they've gotten older and they've gotten to this thing where they're into themselves, they're not. I don't see auntie so and so or whatever, whatever. But I will say this, when they do talk, it is still there's that still commonality because they're able to reminisce about old times and things of that nature and all of that because they have that commonality. But I find it also interesting, and I mean, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Women friendships are different. Women friendships are a lot different as you get older than when you were younger, right? Because I think that a lot of times, I mean, like
Meaning
we used to reflect each other. You know what I'm saying? You were reflective. Like your friends, you all used to dress the same and kind of hang out the same and all them things the same. And then you kind of like got older and you kind of like, moved on to your own thing. And now your relationships are almost like I have friends that are not friends. If that makes any
right.
sense.
Uh yes.
Yeah, because we have for different friend groups, right? That's the other thing. When we was younger, your friends were all friends. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
think I think for me it's a little different. I compartmentalize my friends. I don't know why. This is just what I do. They all represent a different part of me. However, I do have more people that call me a friend than the other way around.
mm,
But
why?
and
Why you think so?
I think it's very similar to what you said. I pour, but it's not right. So there is
Are they really your friend? So they call you friend, but you don't necessarily believe them to be friends.
they're probably associates.
Yeah, they're associates.
Okay.
Because of the intimacy level. You get like again, you can't just go around telling everybody your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Well, also I know
And,
there's
and
these
they, go ahead. I'm
right.
sorry.
No, you're good. Also these same people, and I've tried, like, they call me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I needed." Da da da. The funny thing is, most of the time I'm calling them. There are times I've called them to reach out because I need something, and I find myself pouring. I'm not able to pour back, and it could be something simple like a laugh. It could be something I just and have tried multiple times. Um, when you're in need, right? And y'all both know me, it's not easy to for me to say I need something. But when I call to say I'm in need, I'm so busy fixing your stuff. Of course, I'm fixing your stuff. Of course, So
But I think
I
that has a lot to do with who you are, the person, the kind of person that you are,
right,
right? I think
right.
that a lot of people have to understand that you don't call a plumber to fix a
Your
TV.
refrigerator,
Right. No, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you don't use a hammer to
right,
fix a window. Unless,
right,
what I'm saying? Like, there's a certain type of thing that there's a tool, like people use. Okay, so tools in general are to be used, right?
right,
Sometimes if I need somebody to be a positive, like to give me some positivity, I don't call a Debbie Downer. You know what I'm saying? Like, if
right,
I
right,
need somebody to like get me hype because we about to go outside and shake our asses, I'm not gonna call my friend who's a nun. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta like so it's like that. It's like, who and what to do when you do, and it's not
right,
even so much about being a person that uses, but it's about being a person who understands that not everybody is for every part of who you are.
right. And so I have compartments.
Okay, I understand. Yes.
And the thing is, I don't realize until I ask myself, why is this person in my life?
Mm.
Literally. And then I don't mix those compartments often. There's certain ones I do mix, and there's certain ones I don't. So for me, each compartment of friendship is a reflection of who I am, right? There's some that I want to visit more often than others. um there's some, like, for example, like you said, hey, we've known each other for a long time, right? So you and I can go without talking, then we get on the phone and we're like, oh snap, we're talking on the phone for almost 3 hours.
Mm-hmm.
We're not gossiping. Sometimes it's just like, hey, this is what's happening, that's what's happening, like literally just catching up,
Mm-hmm.
just reflecting on how different life has become.
Mm-hmm.
I have friends that, when, like, if someone were to pass or they have an event, I'm driving 3 or 4 hours to go to your thing,
Mm-hmm.
sit there for an hour or two and go back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's okay, right? Because the compartment of our friendship has to do with support. The foundation of my
Mm-hmm.
childhood is connected to them, and so we're always. And then I have friends that I don't call friends, that I call family, 100%. If you were to meet them, I'm like, that's my cousin, that's my sister friend, like how Tamara just said. For me, that's why I don't have a best friend. Well, I have a new best friend. That's my
Oh man.
significant other, right?
Look at me. You see me? I'm shaking.
Right. No, but seriously,
when I
all jokes
when I
aside,
get there, I'll be saying the same thing. But yes, I feel what you're saying. I mean,
you know,
that
so like,
must that
I'm
must be
building
nice.
that, like, that vulnerability, and
Mm-hmm.
that friendship is the foundation of the relationship. Where in my past it's been relationship, then trying to build a friendship, but
Mm-hmm.
that's different. That's a whole different level of intimacy.
But
Whole,
I feel as though that also has a lot to do with the fact that at this age and this stage in your life, all of
right,
those things, it feels like it's. Listen, I'm learning a lot that a lot of the things that we are building in our lives are that is the foundation for what is to come, right? So if you were not this person that you have become,
right,
I remember very, 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 very vividly. And I think they play. I think we play this. I think it's been one of the most played clips from our show. That when you said, trust me, when I'm ready, and I can't even, I can't quote you, but I know that person said some things, and I was like, yeah, there you go, right there. And it was like everybody, it was an aha moment. And in that moment, I think that's that was like you laid the foundation, and you kind of like laid down the gauntlet and said, this is what I deserve,
right,
and I will not accept anything less than this, because when I'm ready, I'm ready. And I think that's where the foundation started with
right,
with your
right,
significant other. But I
right,
also feel as though in that whole thing and everything else with friendships and things like that, I think that sometimes we're not as um forceful or protective of that
right,
energy with other people. Like
Right.
now it's like I have listen, like I said, I have different types of friends, right? I have a couple of work people that I've come to very close with in a short period of time. And one of the young ladies said, "Are we trauma bonded?" And I'm like, "No, we're not. We're not trauma bonded." She's like, "Are we going through the same thing, and that's why we're so close?" I was like, "No. Even if I wasn't working here, I would still be your friend because I have friends like that I don't work with anymore that are still my let's go to the brunch.
Yes.
Let's go to I go to Thanksgiving dinner at this girl's house every year because that's the kind of thing that we have. But again, I feel as though it's the tools, right? I'm not gonna go to the people house every year because that's not the way I feel comfortable.
Well, when you're
Like
younger and when you're working, it's very situational that your
mm-hmm.
friendships are built, right? So I
Right.
think when we're younger, and we are talking about this before the show started, your friendships are built because we have so much in common in the foundation of growing. We're going to school every day. We see each other 5 times a week. If that
Right.
person has a birthday, guess when you're going to see them? Saturday when they have their birthday party, you go into their house. And then you see them, you move along with them in class, you see them in the hallway. And then in high school, you kind of start kind of going, well, I got into an argument with such and such, or
Right.
now I'm
Things
attracted to the right. So you kind of
things evolve.
transition.
Right.
Right. Then you get to college, and no pun intended, it's a different world,
It
right?
Mm-hmm.
does.
You kind of start meeting different people. I
Yep.
think a thing that I notice with women is now when they start looking for their significant other, now it's like, I want to cling to this person. So I start kind of pushing everyone back. I'm clinging, I'm having children, I'm growing. And then when you get to that point, you're like in super mom mode or super family building, whatever that is. And then things kind of slow down a little. And now you're looking for someone you have something in common again. Again, not um, discrediting a significant other. It's just you're going through this process in life. I think for me, the problem is I did not have good experiences with a best friend. And then I started to really pay attention to why was that person my best friend? Because they lived down the block from me? Did I really know that person?
Mm.
And then realizing, honestly, and I think I get this from my mom never really had friends.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Right.
I
But
noticed that.
but but
Mm.
she had the image of friendships, right?
Mm.
And even to this day, when she's older and people are calling, I literally am shaking my head like, you don't even know. Like, you don't even know. But I
And
say
I
that
think that also your mother was very closed off emotionally from other people. She only showed
right. And
people what
her
she
thing
wanted
is
to
no
show
vulnerability. We can't
at all, ever,
ever, even
ever.
to this day, right?
Yeah.
She's not. And so that made me not understand the importance of friendship. It was drilled into me, family, family, family. Well, guess what? My family don't give two poop poop padoops. You know what I mean? And so now I'm trying to cling to them. They clinging elsewhere. So I think I honestly can say I overthink friendships. Um,
Mm.
I overthink it because I didn't realize that it requires that vulnerability, just like if you were to have a relationship with a significant other. Maybe
Mhm.
not the same, but similar.
Very, very similar because
Very
at the end of the day, you have to have a level of vulnerability.
mhm.
I find it to be interesting because even with my son, I think that he he's starting to grow into that thing where he realizes, yo, just because some people went to school with you did not
Right,
make you his, they're not really your friend.
right.
And he has like now he has like this every time he talks to me, I hear a new person's name or whatever. I'm like, okay, let's see how long this person's name is going to be around. But there's some people who are stay trues, if that makes any sense, like
Absolutely.
stay
That's
true.
that loyalty that you're talking about
I'm trying
also.
to tell you, I will listen. Hillcrest, stand up. I'm gonna tell you something right now. Hillcrest, stand up. Because one thing I will say about our graduating class of 19 blah, blah, blah,
Right. I was
was
saying you shouldn't
I
have
was
even
gonna
said
say I was gonna
the
say
19
it, but
part.
y'all know who y'all are. Purple and white. The friendships these people have endured in ways I've
Ooh,
never
Father.
heard or seen anyplace else.
Right.
And I know people like the way like that. And again, I think it's that time of the time that we were in, the time we grew up. What a time to be alive. Like that was a time like that time,
You
that
sound
frame.
about 80 years old. What a
No,
time to
but
be
I'm just
alive.
no, seriously. Like the music was better. Like the fashion was popping.
Well,
You know what
that's
I'm
how we
saying?
feel. You know what I
The
mean? I'm
skin
sure
is still
people
skinning.
nowadays, right. I think we were outside, if that,
Yeah.
music. And nowadays people aren't outside. We were forced to interact, engage, and grow up together.
A hundred
That's what it
percent. Like
was.
I say that I think about that now. It's like even though I met you in high school, we didn't become really tight until after high school.
Right. When I was rolling around because I found
But honestly, y'all crazy. But honestly, like that's why in my definition I didn't give like the nuances of a friendship as far as
right.
like um the specific elements of a friendship, because when we start talking about foundation, that's where those characteristics,
Right.
and everybody has their own biased perspective as far as what those characteristics look like within
Mm-hmm.
their friendship. um Miscommunication spoke to the fact of like generationally how again our perspective of what a friendship is and how it should look and how it should feel may be different based on the generation. um
Mm-hmm.
and I can see that, we you touched on a few minutes ago, Pearl. I heard you say something about like interactions more with this younger generation, um with the technology, with internet,
Right.
like they've
Right.
kind of moved away from the interpersonal elements um, of communication in the sense of face-to-face dialogue, picking up a telephone dialogue. Everything is done through this lovely phone thing, and
Right.
so we're not even spelling things grammatically correct, like we're just doing
Right.
right. So it based on generation, and then again based on characteristics of friendship, it can shift based on each person. um that's where you get into the conversation of how do you see me as a friend, because
Mm-hmm.
I too share similar thought as you guys. Like, if I'm your friend, you can call me anytime, and I do mean anytime. And if you say, "Hey, this is what's going on. I need you," I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna come help you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But
If
that's a loyalty that is rare.
Here we go. So see, and that's what I'm saying. Loyalty is a characteristic of my definition of friendship.
A
Right.
hundred percent.
Yeah,
A
but
hundred
that's
percent.
not everybody's. That's not that foundational brick. Isn't a part of everybody's core.
Right.
It's the same idea, like the word love, right? So people
Absolutely.
like I remember I had an ex boyfriend that used to tell me like he would never ever hardly ever say the word love. Like he would never say I love you, right? And I used to get upset. I'm like, why? And he was like, because people use that word too freely.
Right. And
I
not
love
really understand.
spaghetti. I love this song. I love this, that, and
I
third.
love this burger, and you
Right,
eat it,
right.
don't think about it ever again.
But the
Right.
joke is, we say, yeah, but you can love somebody, but do you respect them? That's
Right.
the difference. I'd rather, he said, I would rather have your respect every day of the week than for you to tell me that you love me and treat me crazy. And I think that
Right.
that's the other thing. Friendships have to have a a layer of love involved in it, right? And
Right.
we all know
And
that
a
love,
layer of commitment.
correct. So it's love, it's commitment, there's honesty, there's respect, there's all those things. But what you have to also understand is that a lot of times people's friendships are absolutely transactional and absolutely conditional.
Opportunistic.
Conditional.
Right.
Right.
So
If you not
let's
like the people
address
I
some of
like and
these.
all them things,
Let's
okay.
address some of these comments. Hold on.
Yes,
So
yes.
Theodore says, I didn't have any friends in high school, but I do have a girlfriend, and we are doing a commitment party. My question is, how do we find friends? Because where I live, I don't have any friends at all. First of all, yay for your commitment party. We're so glad. How exciting is that to meet someone that you want to have a commitment party with? So that's wonderful. I don't know where you live, Theodore, but there are a lot, and I actually see my daughter using this. There are a lot of like Eventbrite and things like that, where they advertise like a restaurant opening or a museum having an event as well. Sometimes you just got to go out, go to the park, make
Yeah.
make eye contact and a quick smile. I know it's not the thing for everybody to do. Um, I've met people just going to the grocery store and talking about a product I couldn't find on the shelf.
Girl,
So
you trying to get into stranger danger.
So wait, my question is,
Don't
my question is, so
Teddy,
what, my
Ted,
question is,
don't
wait,
do
wait,
don't do
wait.
what Pearl talking about. She over there telling you to wink at people and
I didn't say
hey,
wink. I said just quick eye contact
now
and the
you yellow mustard or gray poupon, sir.
Listen,
Ted,
the
don't do it.
joke,
Don't do it, Ted.
but the joke is when you say go find friends. I don't think you find friends. Friends kind
well,
of like
find
just
yourself
happen.
outside, right?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
kind of like just happens.
right.
It's not like something that you can actually sit and say. You find them. Like
What
I
about
know.
communities? I mean, if it's a social, they
I
have
mean,
community.
I
do
I
you? I mean, I don't know how old this person. I don't know how old
Right. I
Theodore
don't know where
is.
they live, whatever, but I'm just saying it's really putting yourself out there. Just like you didn't find your girlfriend sitting in your living room, and if she rang the doorbell,
Or maybe
right.
Theodore did. We don't know that. Haven't
But you know what, Theodore? How you find your girlfriend? Maybe we need to
wait,
know how that happened.
but
So
no, but
let
I'm with you as far as the use of Eventbrite. And honestly, social media has um a tab up there for different events that's happening like in your community or around your community. And sometimes Theodore, like you really have to, case in point, I'm from a very rural area in the state of North Carolina. Like where I was born at is very rural. And everybody know everybody and their grandma and their cousins too. So where what I say that to say like um depending on your mindset and your aspirations and your goals, yeah. And I hope it's okay that I call you Ted because I have a cousin named Theodore and his nickname is Ted. but um but where I'm going with this, Ted, is like seriously, like sometimes depending on how small minded your community where you are may be, because maybe your interest and things don't align with those in your community. Yeah, baby, maybe you might have to go outside of your immediate
community.
community to make those connections and build those relationships with other people that are like-minded as yourself.
Hmm.
So yeah, definitely use
So
social.
common interests will definitely get you someplace,
It
right?
does absolutely.
Yeah.
So
or
yeah,
do something with your girlfriend
oh,
out.
he
I mean,
is. Oh, she going. Look, they having a
They
commitment
having
now.
a commitment party.
all
Official.
right.
Like, yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna do two comments because they're both from the same person. So it says Rodney and Melissa evolving. And the first comment is it's very hard to make friends as adults. I honestly don't really care to make too many of them. Hold on, let me read the
I
one.
Interesting.
agree.
And
Ditto.
then my Haitian dad thought showing feelings and being vulnerable is a sign of weakness. So I'm gonna address the first one. You don't need many friends. One friend will take you places that 10 wouldn't. So you don't need a lot. It is very hard. I think it's hard because, and we talked about this with um, romantic relationships. Everybody's waiting to get the person first. Like, I'm going to get you before you get me. And so we enter these relationships minus loyalty, increased defense.
Mm.
Or what does that person want from me or why? I agree it's hard, especially nowadays, again, with the lack of interaction and engagement. Um, and then I wanted to say this. My Haitian mother did the same thing. That's exactly what we're talking about. My Haitian mother was like, "You don't need friends. You have family," and that was absolutely incorrect and did me dirty in my lifetime.
Family,
So
your family sometimes will cut you worse than a damn people that you don't they're not related to you.
Yeah.
right.
Relatives don't mean
So
that you chose them. The family I choose is way better than the family that I was born. Sometimes, it's like what
yeah.
the hell?
So my very first best friend was my cousin. I think she's like 2 years, maybe three older than me. She was my cousin. We used to do sleepovers, whatever. As time went on, she clung more to her maternal family because I was on from her paternal side, and she probably couldn't answer any questions about me besides my name and how many kids I have at this time. It just we grew apart.
Hmm.
We just didn't have that much in common anymore. Oh, I think we do, but I just think circumstance we became different people. Um, but in the Haitian culture, for those of you who are aware of it, which I'm sure is also in the African culture, things like that. Um, yeah, it's like you don't open up that side to show
Right.
of yourself, and that's why I said, and that's why I learned from my mom, like, dude, this is not the way,
Mm-hmm.
not the way to do it.
I
So
think it's counterproductive to hide who you are because you are afraid that someone else will take advantage of that. Because what happens is that if you're always walking around trying to hide that vulnerable side, you will always find yourself very, very lonely and
I,
kind of and bitter. I think bitterness
I'm
comes
gonna be,
from doing that.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not always you're hiding that vulnerable side. Sometimes you have not even
No.
allowed yourself to do. And I think that's the example I saw, that it's not even one that we visited. We
Mm,
overwork so that we never have to deal with it. We refocus so I don't have to deal with it. We use anger so we don't have to deal with it. So
I
I
think the analytics of this thing, though, I think that also is different from our generation. I think our generation has the best of both worlds, right? So I think that one of the things that we have that our adult, our predecessors did not have was the ability to be emotionally intelligent with those type of things,
mm,
right? I
Right.
think that it was because back in the day, people didn't go to therapists and get them talk it out and speak and do this what we're doing right now, because this is almost like a form of therapy what we're even doing right now, right? So we're letting people see us in our authentic on time, right in real time. You get to hear what we're thinking and you get to see what we're thinking and all those things, right? And there's a vulnerability even just sitting here talking about this type of thing, in real life. But you get to hear who we are, you get to see who we are, you get to judge who we are, right?
but
That's
and
something
I
that
think that's what
people,
people are afraid of, judge part, the
right?
judgment part.
So
Right.
you didn't get to, so our predecessors did not get a chance to do that, right? We, on the other hand, at our big age, are doing that now, right? And we have the actual best of both worlds, if that makes any sense, because we're old enough to know better and young enough to still do better. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have that thing where we're already boxed in and we can't be molded into anything else. That old, teaching the old dog new trick type thing. My dad is my dad. He's gonna be 85 years old, and that man is who he is. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? He just had pizza for the first time a couple of years ago because he wasn't trying to eat pizza. That's not what a man like that does, right? So there's that. But at the same token, we have this thing where we're still malleable and we can still move and still do things differently. The generation after us is on a completely different thing because, like you said, their social skills are not the same social skills that we have,
Right.
And
So,
Well,
as
we
you
were
know,
forced to have some of those social skills, so
you have to go outside. Go outside. Go
well, the
outside. Go
thing
find something to do.
as adults, I think our having and developing adult relationships, such as friendships with others, can be very complex because of the different um, situations that we have maybe experienced in our life that influences how we are able to connect with other people,
Mm-hmm.
or or lack thereof connection with other people because of those past experiences. And so developing adult friendships can be tricky in that way, to the extent where y'all spoke to things being conditional, things being transactional is not necessarily genuinely organic in the sense of just being a pure, I just want to get to know you, I think you're dope, I think you're dope too, hey, we're buds, like kind of
yeah,
like
but
you're
I
saying,
don't think
kind of
people
like you're
can be
saying,
vulnerable though. To say,
but
I don't see a lot of people saying, "Hey, I
no,
think you're dope." I think they like, I
no,
don't
but
want
that's
to.
what I'm saying, because of experiences that people have endured in their life has
Mm,
caused callous, Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so when we think about people being empathetic, when we think about um, not being judgmental, a lot of that may be truly out the door and abnormal, if you will, in this day and time because of life experiences that people have endured. And so it is hard to develop adult relationships based on experience, lived
Do you
experience.
do you think some of it is also a undiscussed or undisclosed competition or comparison? Do you think?
Yeah, but that goes back to what I'm saying. When you were younger, or whenever it happened, you
Hmm.
had dealt with a situation where somebody made you feel less than who you are, and
Right.
consistently, and so now it has caused you to become callous and hard. And so when you do meet someone, to your point of there's this contention, well, I need to be better than you, and that's not being a genuinely organic friend to somebody.
Right.
Because why are you competing with your friend?
Well, that's
Right.
the thing. It's like as you get as you like. I mean that I think that also has to do with maturity. Right? As you get more mature, and you realize that you're more comfortable in your skin. So it's not about getting older. It's about maturing. Right? So when you because you could be because there's people out there that's grown that
Mhm.
still have that same energy. They still carry that same competition and all of that stuff with themselves. Whereas you have people who are actually okay with themselves.
Yeah,
Hmm.
So it don't matter. It's like I'm not competing with you. I've actually had to say that to somebody recently. Well, I'm not competing with you. Like it's not a competition. Um and again, it was somebody who was a lot younger than me because again, that's what they still in that. I ain't in that no more.
but how can you be my friend if you're competing with
And
me?
that's the point. That's the point.
That's what I'm saying. Like
In that moment we're not friends because I can't be your friend if that's not a thing. I mean, what's funny enough is actually like athletes actually compete against each other and still are friends. Like they do that for real. Like you know what I mean? Like that's actually a
So,
competition.
well,
They still
first, hey, coach, how are
no,
you?
Hey y'all. Forgive my tardiness. The ladies, we had a blast tonight. But I like
yay,
That's why I asked you. Is it fire?
yeah, no, it was
fire.
it was real fire. I got footage to prove it.
Oh, okay.
But I love the
So,
idea of, like collaboration over competition because we talk about that all the time in the business. Because it's our peers, right? We all have the same business,
right.
working it differently. So to Dot's point, I like it comes from a perspective. It's really a mindset because if you're competing, that means it's something within you. And I love how
Mm-hmm.
communication, like, basically it starts with you. It really does, because a lot of times if you feel like you have to compete with someone, that's your inner workings that's not so
Right.
at peace, right? Like you feel the need to have to, like, especially your friend, like, what are we talking about? Like, that's your girl. No, you should never. And if you do, then I
Mhm.
think that comes
Absolutely.
to a point where you have to check yourself, right? Like, you sometimes we have to check ourselves, and that's okay.
Mhm.
But start with you, and making sure you're not. If you do feel the inkling to compete with somebody, then look deeper at what you may have going on.
But how about the
so
idea that you gotta might have to check them too? Because sometimes people have to understand that just because I'm your friend does not mean that I'm going to placate to your garbage. And I think
Well, no,
that's the other thing.
as a
That's the other
friend, you
thing. I think
should be able to call
a
me
real
out.
friend,
Yeah, yeah, you should be able to
a
call
real
me out.
friend's gonna call you on your garbage.
Yeah,
well,
and
some
it may
people are
be
not
good.
looking for friendship. They're looking for yes men and yes women.
But I
Someone who
like
always agrees with them.
but I like miscommunication's point because I don't play that either. Because I'm gonna check you, and then once we have a and once we have a conversation, um, to do some check and balances here.
Hmm.
So because we're not gonna be lopsided. We are, if we're friends, we're evenly yoked. So with that being said, even to the to Ice that comment by Ice, the thing is, um when I check you, if you decide that this is not a good fit for you, then you can see yourself along the way,
Mm.
and it's all good. Because even in that, again, I may still see you as a quote unquote friend, in the sense of, as miscommunication said, there are compartmentalized areas for people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you if if all in all you are a dope person, because we all have our own character flaws. um so if for me, if you're still a dope person in my perspective, even though we are not on the same accord, then that's fine. I'm gonna put you over here, and if I see you in these streets, I'm gonna still say, "Hey, girl, hey."
Right.
And if you decide that you want to respond to me, hopefully you will, because hopefully we just have an understanding. Then so be it. And I know that that's not always the case either, and that's cool too.
So do we feel, so it's the four of us, sorry, it's the four of us ladies. Do you feel that female friendships are different than male friendships?
Can't speak to that
Yes.
because I don't have a penis.
Well, I can say,
From
I
your
can say,
observation, from your
I can
vaginal
say,
observation, do you
No,
feel
from
that?
my general observation, I can say that I find that female relationships, friend groups and things of that nature are a little bit different. I think that is all in the ingredients might be the same, meaning like commonality and being able to understand each other. I think the ingredients are the same, but I think that the doses are different, if that makes any sense. Like, um,
hmm
I think that, that checking in, holding each other down, going and doing things like the things that make this friendship, develop and work might be different for men than it is for women. And I think that that's I mean, like I said, I have a male friend and my best friend is a male. And I think that sometimes when we talk, it's like we give each other the other perspective. And I think that's the reason why it's like it's kind of dope, because I can give him the female perspective and he can give me the male perspective. So it's that way. And it's that's just the male female friendship together. But I also know that his friends that he has, his homeboys and the dudes that he hangs out with, he has a different relationship with them than he has with me. And I still, my homegirls that I chill with is different than you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so that's why I say I think that there's a difference there.
Yeah, I think there's definitely is it to the speaking to the dynamic of the relationship. So like for instance, my female best friend, we're going to talk about different things and we're going to connect on certain levels, especially cuz we experience the same things oftentimes, whereas my male best friend is certain things I can say, and then um there, like, I'm still open with him, but because he's in a relationship, first of all, I know her, that's my girl, right? But I respect them enough to like not talk about certain things, like, oh my god, my,
Right, right,
my stomach cramping, like I tell my girl best friend that. Whereas like, my male best friend is certain things I make sure I have certain boundaries, we have certain boundaries in place. And we've been friends for 20 years, so you have that. No new friends over here, first of all. uh, yeah, like if I've been rocking with you for at least 1 decade, at least, at minimum. But I think I learned, to your point, miscommunication. I learned a lot more from my male best friend about males because I'm talking to him
Right,
about guys all the time.
hmm
right, right.
And I'm dating this guy, and this is what's happening, and he's giving me pointers and whatnot. So it's a different conversation. Whereas when I'm talking to my girl best friend, it's like, girl, this nigga, let me tell you, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Whereas I'm looking to get guidance from my best friend that's a male. So I think
right.
it's on where you are in life, first of all. Second of all, your boundaries and any dynamics that you do have with your male best friend. Like for instance, I hang out with him and his girlfriend. Like we have a little throuple situation. It's fun, right? Well, without the because
Right.
right, because I mean I
Right,
still
right.
so but I hang out with them. I'm the third wheel sometimes. But yeah, I think you treat them differently, and you do have certain boundaries that should be respected, especially if that their other person is connected with someone, and they're a different sex. So
So, do you feel that friendship needs to be? I don't know if this is the right way to say it. Like, do we need to be in the same financial status? Do we need to be in the
No,
same relationship status?
no.
Do we? Okay.
And yeah, that's insane. I think you connect to me. I'm a person who connects with energy. I like energy. Like if I like you, I like your energy. I'm not, I don't care how old you are, what you done been through. None of that matters. What matters is our connection and how close I feel to you because of our connection.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
think I know what how
I
because
asked that because I asked, sorry for interrupting Tay. I asked that because some people go, well, we're married now, so we need to make married friends. We can't have single friends.
But
Or,
that's where miscommunication was talking to earlier. Like that's that whole transactional, conditional elements. I- To each their own. Let me say that to each is their own. But I cannot. But I'm not messing with you, sir. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but no, but to each is their own, definitely. But I think when we start putting conditions on who we can have relationships with in the sense of developing friendships, we block ourselves off or lock ourselves out of the opportunity to learn and evolve as a person.
right.
Just
So let me
because,
ask a question. Let me
yes,
ask because I have a
Excuse
thing,
me.
right? So me and my best friend, as I said, talk about him like, all the time.
mm,
We have this thing where I told him all the time, like he's dating somebody. I always tell him until I know her name, she's not. I don't. Until you tell me her name, until you call her by her name to me in a conversation, she's just some chick that you dating.
Right.
And he always says that. He always laughs about that because it's true. It's like he could be dating somebody, going on dates with somebody. Oh, I'm going on a date. I'm going. He never tells me the person's name.
Right.
Now that's why I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. But he also says this. He always lets them know about his best friend Lynn. And I say that might be the reason why you single for real, but but okay, because there's a thing that me and him have where it's like I can't be with you like that if you don't understand that this relationship that I have is not it's non-negotiable. This friendship that me and this lady have, this human being have, it's non-negotiable because again, the things that me and this person have been through, again, I mean, this is just my best friend. Things that me and this person have been through, this man has saved my life, physically saved my life on occasion. As have I. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's a different kind of relationship that me and him have. That yeah, you can get married to Sheila, and you will be married to Sheila, and Sheila will be my best friend. She's gonna be, but until I hear her name, until I hear you, Sheila, then it doesn't matter because all these other, and I told him that too. I said, listen, once you tell me her name and you tell me about her for real, I will take her seriously. But until then, she's just some next chick. Now I know that sounds mean. That sounds
No,
horrible.
it doesn't, because I have male friends and they'd call the person that they're messing with old girl or blah
Right,
blah. I'm like,
shorty, whatever. I'm like, I didn't take this chick fit seriously until
right.
I know her name.
Or there's like however they do it. So when that would happen, I'm like, just like that.
Because they ain't gonna be around that long, and I feel bad for them because I'm like, yo, until you are until you are emotionally ready to say, Lisa Robinson, I don't. What am I gonna do with that? And I know that sounds kind of odd, but I mean, like that's just the way I feel about with that specific situation. And I know that we have like that's like a non sequitur. When I meet somebody, I let them know off the rip. My best friend's a guy.
Right.
mhm.
His name is and this is my person, and that's that.
Right.
Now, are you okay
And
with
not
that?
everyone can accept that.
Not everybody
That's
can accept that.
right.
That's a fact.
But
And I'm
definitely
sorry.
have experienced that too.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I can't.
And Ice and Mr. Knox both, they're like, and I would agree, again, and maybe I'm a little different. We've kind of said that several times on the show, but um
Yup.
I, because I don't, because I move like Coach Tay. I move off of energy. If you come correct, male or female, and we just having conversation, I, I'm not sitting there asking you what's what your financial statements look like.
Correct.
Who
Right.
does that? Somebody might, but
Some
anyway,
people do that though.
but that's not, if you are just developing a relationship with someone. And I say that because as a stranger, you sitting at a table, another person sitting somewhere, y'all just happen to like link eyes, because that happens sometimes, because you looking, because you're looking in a certain direction, so they just happen to look at you at the same time. It's like, oh shit, ooh. but then but then when you sit down and have a conversation, you're getting to know one another, not necessarily from a um transactional purpose, but just to get, again, from an organic standpoint. You're just getting to know somebody. um who would know if that person is homeless? Who would know if that person is a millionaire that you're sitting there having a conversation with, unless you're sitting there asking them? And so that's why I say, for me, I don't get into all of that. If you're good people, you good people. If you're not, you're not, and I'm gonna know. And
Mm-hmm.
if I need to swing, I'm gonna swing that away. um and and we're gonna leave on good terms. But it's just, it goes to miscommunication. You said it perfectly. What I see, and I would agree with a lot of relationships, is that people are being very opportunistic. They're trying to figure out who they can ride off of or who they can eat off of.
Right.
If
And
we're
that's why it's
going,
not a friendship. It's an
and that's why,
associate.
and that's why it's not a friendship. So, um, yeah, it's, oh, yeah.
So for me, the reason why I said there's associates and friendship is associates are associated to a specific thing that brings y'all together. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to hook up for my fire stick. So now we kiki ha ha, and then
Right,
I got my fire stick, and I don't care about you no more.
right.
Boom. Maybe you got the hookup. Maybe you got the connect. Maybe my
But
person
that's
I'm
not a,
messing with,
but
huh?
again, those are not friendships, and we're
Right, but we do call them friendships because when we get together, we kiki and then we ha ha,
I don't call
or
you
we have a consistent group. It happens.
toxic, man.
Or we have a consistent time where we interact with one another. Like sometimes, it's like, oh, well, I'm messing with this person, and this person got a homeboy or a homegirl, so now we
Mhm.
friends. No, you're not. You're associated with the opportunity to get some booty or to get to know this person, and then I'm very serious. Why
Yeah,
you gotta make that face?
is your
Because I haven't, because I feel as though, I think that, like, the funniest thing is that I don't have I know a lot of people. So,
But a
a
lot
lot
of
of people.
people
I
don't
know a
know
lot of
you.
people. I do know a lot of people.
Absolutely.
And I do know a lot of people. And if I ever said, okay, well, I'm gonna have a party, and I decided to invite, the people that I know, I'd have a lot of people there. But the people who I care about,
Yeah, it's different.
it's like the people that really are like my tried and trues, and my hold me downs, and my, bust up, wish a bitch would type thing. You know what I'm saying? There's not that many of those. Like, I have, how you have on your phone, you have your favorites on your phone. My favorites on my phone
Right.
are like, maybe, I think there's like 8 people that I call on a consistent basis, and of those 8 people, I think maybe 5 of them are actual family, and the other ones are like my son and my mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like that very small circle of people that I call on a regular basis. Because those are the only people that I know that if push come to shove, and if the world was ending today, those are people I want to find out if they okay. Everybody else,
Yeah. Now, I think the major difference is like your friends are the people who notice when something is wrong and you don't have to say.
Right.
Your friends are the people who notice your absence,
mm-hmm,
That's
or
right.
when you're quiet, or
mm-hmm,
when they know something is going on with you, they reach out to you. Those
right,
are your friends. And I'm not talking,
correct,
oh, I talk to so and so every day. It doesn't have to be that.
Yeah.
The people who hold you down, who will show up for you,
mm-hmm,
it manifests different
mm-hmm,
than what I think, than a lot of what I've heard in the conversation. We're not talking about associates or colleagues or business
That's right.
partners, because I got a ton of all of those.
That's
But
right.
friends, they have not changed in the past 20 years.
They are
Period.
consistent.
I
They
don't
are.
have new ones. I'm not interested in new ones. Those are my friends. Now, people, it's okay, I think, to be open to developing new relationships when you're older, but you have to be in a place, I think, in your mind and in your life to receive such things. You can't just, oh,
Pop
I'm
up.
meeting somebody for lunch today and we're going to be best friends tomorrow. It doesn't work like that as an adult, for sure. We are more intentional. And we love ourselves more. So it's like we're choosing these people and these people are choosing us.
Right.
It's a relationship. It's not an intimate relationship, but it's a relationship just the same. And you have to nurture those relationships. And I'll put it like that. Like,
You gotta give that, you have to give those relationships air, and you have to give them room to grow and all of those things
you
like
have
that. Like
water.
I always say the golden girl, like the golden girls, them that, like that type of friendship where you like, you in it together. That's very, that's a very important thing for a person to have, because that's when like that not having that
God.
isolation, but knowing you got them people who
Mm-hmm.
got you for real.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
can
gold.
count on one
That's
hand. I can
golden.
count on one hand, and it has not changed in the past 20 years.
Mhm.
So look at God. So I'm
Look at
blessed.
God.
Not look at God.
No, look
No,
at
for real.
God.
People
Mm-hmm.
like, oh yeah,
So,
I'll follow
um,
it.
so I guess the wrap up question is, because we were talking about navigating adult friendships. So,
My bestie.
uh,
Aw. Hey, bestie, bestie.
is it possible to develop adult friendships? Period. Is that something that is realistic for people to do?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
you got to
agree.
be
I think you
intentional
can.
though. Yeah.
I think you can. I just think you gotta be you have to be, I would say this, as you get older, you should be selective with the energy that you accept and the energy that you give out. Right? If you are a well of good energy, positive energy, and then you got to make sure you don't got people who are just going to dip into your thing, like we were talking about earlier, dip, and never, give back. But again, it's not shouldn't be transactional, because in actuality, a person who is truly your friend, I mean, truly your friend, is going to give without being asked. And the same will go, like it's a reciprocal situation. Now, let me just say this: there are things that I can't do, I can't do, right, and my friend possibly can. There, like you said about balance, about it being balanced.
Yes.
It's not always going to be like this. It might be like this today. It might be like this tomorrow. But at the end of the day, there is a purpose and a love that both of you have, a mutual respect that both of you have for each other. So
Absolutely.
as you get older, that is something that you should invest in, right? Because
hundred
it is an
percent.
investment. A friendship is a very important investment,
Yeah.
because it costs a lot. It's just not it's costly. It's costly emotionally. It's costly physically. It's costly mentally. It's
It's
costly,
time. It's time. You're not
right?
getting that time back. You're not.
It costs a lot. But you know what? Those investments, that lifetime friendship, that thing is when you can call somebody and be like, bitch. And they be like, bitch. I'm like, bitch. You even say no words. And they understand what the hell you talking about. Or you call somebody, you be like, did you just, girl, I saw, you don't even finish each other. You know what I'm saying? You don't even finish his words.
It's
You
the
know what that
connection.
They
is.
know what you need. Like your
That
friends
is
know what you
gold.
like. I need to call this man right now, man.
Yes.
They know what you need.
Listen, that is what you
They don't
call,
have that discernment. They can't work that out.
it's
Because
golden.
yes.
And that's what I'm saying. It costs a lot, but it is priceless. It's like those are the things that as an adult, oh, come on
It's
now.
bad. No, really.
Bomb.com.org.edu.
Okay. Well, look at that. Y'all got so deep into this very interesting conversation. We've gone way past our hour
Oh no, we
segment.
need to start doing. We need to start having longer shows, guys. We gotta look into that.
Well, we don't want people to be falling
Long as
asleep
they
on
ain't
They
us.
ain't falling asleep. How they gonna fall asleep with us?
yeah. 5, 6 hours.
Oh my gracious me! But let me channel Mr. Chocolate. Hold on. If you're watching and you haven't
Mhm.
liked or subscribed, you're wrong.
Wrong.
You're
Dead
just
wrong.
wrong. You're just dead wrong. Look at
Dead
that.
wrong.
So go ahead, like, subscribe. Um, you'll get alerts when we get on. We have plenty of other shows coming on, not just the ladies, but our other shows where we have gentlemen on our panel as
Not
well.
the gentleman.
We'd like to thank you all out there for commenting and watching and engaging. It made our conversation so much, flourish so much more. So once again, thank you for joining the experience where the experience is always good. Have a good night, guys.
Good night. Ding-a-ding-ding.
Bye.